Merry Christmas, Hex Kittens! Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to show you how to make Christmas washcloths. Are you ready? I know you're ready. Let's do this. Now, the wonderful thing about these washcloths is they're really fast and they're really easy to make. My auntie, she used to make these all the time for everybody. They make great last minute gifts, so, today being Christmas and all, it's really last minute. But you can pop one out in a couple hours and they make a great little gift to go with decorative soaps and all sorts of fun things like that. So, without any further ado, let me show you how to whip up these wonderful washcloths. To start, we're going to use peaches and cream in this lovely Christmas color. And some size 7 needles. To get started, we need to cast on 4 stitches. And we're just going to do long tail method. And there we go. Got 4 stitches on the needle. Now for the first row, we're just going to knit. So we're just going to knit the first row. And there we go. So that is one row. Now, for row 2, here's where the magic starts to happen. Now, when you're making these washcloths, you'll notice they have a nice little kind of lacy edging. And we're going to learn how to do that right now. So to start, we're going to knit 2. Now we're going to do a yarn over. So what a yarn over is, you're going to pull the yarn to the front as if to purl, but you're going to go over the stitch and knit. So you knit. So what it does is, see how it creates that extra loop right there? You're going to knit. And you're going to knit to the end. And there you go. And so now you can see we have 5 stitches on the needle. So now you're going to repeat this row until we have 46 stitches on the needle. So we'll do a couple more rows of this. So it's going to be knit 2, yarn over, and then knit to the end of the row. So now we're going to knit that first yarn over right here. And when you knit the yarn over, what it does is it creates a hole in the work because there was no stitch underneath it. So it's basically creating a stitch above where there was nothing. And we knit to the end. So you can kind of see this is our first yarn over hole right here. And then we continue going. So we're going to knit 2. We're going to yarn over, so pull that yarn to the front, yarns over, and we're going to knit to the end of the row. Go. I'm going to knit a few more rows, and then I will check back in with you. Alright, so now we're at the part where I have 22 stitches going across the top. So we're about halfway, through this part of the pattern, quarter way through the actual washcloth. And as you can see, all the little yarn over holes helping shape that, and the little border going around the outside. You can see how the nice fun variegated colors are playing through the whole washcloth, which is one of the fun things about the variegated yarns. You kind of never know how it's going to lay out or pool. And yeah, I will show you again once I have all 46 stitches on the needle. Alright, so here is 46 stitches on the needles. We're halfway done. You can see all the little yarn over holes on the sides, creating the nice border. And then we're going to move on to the next row, which is the other half of this pattern, which is kind of nice that this pattern is, you know, very repetitive, really easy to memorize. So for this row, we are going to knit one. Then we're going to do a knit two together decrease. So this is how we're going to start bringing it back down. So put the needle through the two, wrap that yarn, pull up that stitch, and pass over. Now we're going to do a yarn over so that we're still creating that border. And then we're going to do another knit two together. So that way you have two decreases paired with the increase so that we can start getting rid of some stitches. There we go. And then that is all there. And then we just knit to the end. Yeah, so this is a really nice pattern too, because it's, you know, it's a classic. You know, my auntie, she used to make these for everybody. Also, it gives you kind of like the beginnings of lace basics, because that, you know, the yarn overs paired with decreases, and that's all there really is to lace knitting. So you're kind of getting the very first, you know, lace knitting that we've done on this channel. So that's always kind of a fun skill to start getting into. Also, like, from, you know, this is maybe the first project we've really done on here using cotton. You know, cotton yarn kind of behaves differently than if you're using a wool or an acrylic. It doesn't have a lot of give. Sometimes, you know, one of the common things you hear people say about, you know, working with the yarn is sometimes it's a little bit harder on your hands. And you can definitely feel it's a little bit different. Yeah, you'll see when you know, knit with different types of materials, they kind of behave a little bit differently. Animal materials like wool, they tend to have a little bit more bounce, so they have a little bit more stretch and give because of the way the fibers are, whereas plant-based isn't always as forgiving. But, you know, some kind of tend to be a little bit sleeker, like if you're using a bamboo. But for this, you know, it's a washcloth, so we definitely need the cotton just for its absorbency, and, you know, it's really the only choice for something like this. Also, they work really good if you're doing like pot holders. And you would have to be cotton because you couldn't use an acrylic for that because acrylic would melt under heat. So, you know, this is, again, it's a versatile pattern, and you're getting to learn a few things about the different materials we're using and some of the techniques. Alright, we're almost down to the end. And I'll show you the decrease section one more time. Alright, so we're going to go over row 3 again, which we're repeating until pretty much the end, until we have 4 stitches left. So we're going to knit 1. Then we're going to do a knit 2 together. That through. Wrap your yarn. Pull up that stitch and drop it off. Then we're going to do a yarn over, and then one more knit 2 together. So that is going through the 2 stitches. There we go. And there we go. So now we've decreased the stitch, and we're going to knit to the end. And I will continue knitting, and I will check in when we have had a little bit more progress. Alright, so at this point we're down to 30 stitches, so we've lost 16 stitches as we've been doing our decreases. So you can start to really see the shape of the like square and diamond is coming together. And then also you can kind of see how the variegation works. When you have shorter rows, the colors hit more frequently, but as it gets wider, you can see how the colors kind of pool because it matches up nicely with the lengths of the color repeat. So that's why you have this nice pool of white and red and green. And then as it's getting smaller, you can start to see that they're becoming a little bit more intermingled. It's kind of the fun thing about variegated yarns and seeing how they pool, and depending on your projects, it can be something you really love or something you might want to adjust. But I just thought it would be a nice little visual to see how that works out depending on the gauge of your project. Alright, we'll see you when we're closer to the end. Alright, we have worked the pattern down to the last 4 stitches, and now we are going to bind off. And this is a refresher. To bind off, we're going to knit 2. And then pass that first stitch over and off. And you're going to knit another. And then pass that first stitch over the needle and off. Got one more to do. There we go. Then we're going to cut our yarn. Go. I'm just going to weave in the ends and we'll be right back. So there you have it. One completed washcloth in fun festive colors. And they're a lot of fun to make and they're very simple. They make wonderful gifts, so hand them out to everybody that you know. Alright, that is everything you need to know to make these wonderful washcloths. And they're quick, they're easy. The Christmas colors are so much fun, but you can make them in any of the regular colors that you want. So, they're just nice to have around, and again, they're super quick and they're super wonderful to make. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel. If you want to support this channel, you can always find out all the things right down here at my Teespring shop, or if you feel like it, you can Venmo me a tip, and all that fun helps to get more yarn and make more things happen on here. If you have finished projects, tweet them to me. I want to see them. Or email me at knittingsadrag@gmail.com, and then you could have your projects featured at the end of a future video. And until next time, Merry Christmas and Hexy Holidays! Bye!